I am Regina, and this is Wanda Harville with Jefferson County Purchasing and PACA. And I want to thank you all for joining us today for this webinar. We will be presenting today for bid number 40-21, portable air purifiers. And the company that we have for this bid today is Carico International Incorporated. Robert Shumay will be presenting to us. I think you all can see or hear him here on the screen. And right now, I'm just going to turn things over to Mr. Shumay to introduce himself, and we'll get started with the webinar. We also have Ryan Ritchie here with Carico as well. So you all can go ahead and get started. Mr. Shumay is.
Can't hear him.
Robert, you're muted, buddy. We can't hear you.
He needs to unmute himself.
How's that?
There we go.
Good, awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank everyone for giving us the opportunity to spend a few minutes to talk about Healthway's outstanding product. And just to give you some background, Carico is a distributor of a number of products that help you live longer and healthier lives. And given the importance of keeping the administrators and the students safe at the schools, I thought it would be best if I brought in one of the most knowledgeable people with the company Healthway, who actually makes the air filters that we sell. So I'd like to introduce Ryan Ritchie, who is going to talk a little bit about the performance of the unit. Ryan?
Great, everybody. Yeah, pleasure to meet everybody. Let me make sure I'm not muted, am I? Okay. As a boy from Birmingham, I was excited to be able to jump on this call. We've been very blessed and honored to support people all across the globe during this time of COVID-19. So I'm super excited to be supporting some of the schools in my old hometown and area. And I want to make sure that you guys understand how we are different and what we can do to support you and the students to be in a safer, healthier environment. So I'm going to open up this screen so you guys can follow along with the presentation. And of course, if there are any questions, please feel free to raise the little hand in the Zoom or in the presentation meeting and ask any questions that you might have. Now, Healthway's history of air purification predates COVID-19. We've been manufacturing air purification equipment for decades, and during that time, it's led us to manufacture every known technology in air purification today, from electrostatic to Hepa and ULPA to UV technology. And I'll have you note that these are technologies we worked with back in the 80s. But what that did, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you like that. Can you make it bigger on your screen so that they can
absolutely
see everything?
There we go.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. And so what that path has led us to do is to develop a technology called DFS, or disinfecting filtration system. And it has basically made all the other known technologies out there obsolete. Now, why is air cleaning important right now? Obviously, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, but I really want to impress upon everybody the value that not only the staff, but the students will have long-term with better, healthier air. Notoriously, 98% of all indoor environments, from homes to hospitals to schools to hotels, have bad air quality. I'm most enthusiastic about what will start to happen from years from now with the multitude of school districts that are finally addressing indoor air quality. And when you look at the statistics, they're staggering. 9 out of 10 people worldwide do not breathe healthy air, which led to the point for the head of the WHO to call air pollution the new tobacco. And just imagining being inside of our built environments, the dangers are equatable to tobacco smoke, and that's frightening. Now, classroom productivity is one of the biggest things that we all see, right? Lethargic children could be a lot of things. They might have been up too late playing video games, but CO2, airflow, these things really can impact the ability of children and staff to perform at their peak opportunity. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish. Now, this statistic here, while it's designed for workers, can easily be applied to students as well. That for every 1,000 students, poor indoor air quality would account for 600 sick days per year. And that is a huge impact on students' ability to learn, districts to keep kids in the classroom, etc. And so this is some of the benefits that we're going to start to see as a nation while we're improving air quality inside of our classrooms and our corporate facilities. Now, obviously, COVID-19 has changed a lot, and a lot of the way that we think about things, a lot of the ways that we look at our built environments. And all studies do indicate that COVID-19 is airborne transmission. Early on in the pandemic, there was a lot of conversation about it being a mostly surface spread virus, but we all know now that it is airborne transmission. Now, to get into our technology and to help explain how we are different, our technology is called DFS, or Disinfecting Filtration System. Now, we believe that everything starts with the filter, and the filter, mechanical filtration, is the most important first step. What we do differently is we energize our filter with a specific energy dose that gives us the highest efficiency in air purification today, while also deactivating all viruses, bacteria, and mold inside of our filter system. So it's not simply capturing COVID-19 sized viruses or particulates, but it's killing these things inside of our filter as well. A lot of right now we hear is people being recommended to choose HEPA filters. And I'm a little discouraged by that because HEPA, while it's a known technology, is misapplied in 99% of products out there. What I mean is a company will market HEPA filtration, but the performance of the system is nowhere near that. What we focus on is total system performance. And with that, we achieve a 99.99% efficiency at a particulate size that is infinitely smaller than a virus-sized particulate, meaning that we are much more efficient at capturing virus-sized particles than HEPA filters. Now, as I mentioned before, we also kill those viruses, bacteria, and mold in our filter, a lot of what UV light is currently used in the marketplace today. What we found over time is that UV light is sometimes very ineffective because of the bulb intensity, where it has to be at a specific wavelength to have an impact. With our DFS technology that penetrates the entire filter apparatus, we do not have those problems, where we kill everything from top to bottom inside the filter, resulting in a very clean, healthy filter when you go to remove it. Now, we knew early on that with COVID, we needed to provide some verification data. And so we put our products through testing with third-party laboratories that showed within 10 minutes that we had a 99.98% capture and deactivation of COVID-19 proxy viruses. And after a course of 24 hours, that actually increased up to 100%, meaning that this is certainly the right technology at the right time to help address our current global pandemic. Now, there's a lot of other concerns when you look at air purifiers. A lot of them can produce a byproduct like ozone. And so we also have put ourselves through CARB certifications, which is a California Air Research Board, zero ozone production testing, EN 1822, which is HEPA standard, filtration capability, etc. And so we're constantly having the right certifications to help make sure that these are safe and healthy products. Very early on in the pandemic, many schools purchased what they call bipolar ionization. It was a technology that puts things into the environment. And unfortunately, what they're learning now is that those can be more harmful than helpful. And so it's important to have the right certifications to show that you are creating a healthy environment and not doing more harm than good. Now, one of the biggest difficulties we typically have when we talk about micron-sized particles is helping to visualize what that looks like. These are invisible to the human eye, and only can laser particle sensors really measure these in the space. But as you can see about the size of a bacteria and where HEPA filters are rated to be efficient, compared to where the coronavirus size is of 0.1 micron, and then down to the filtration capability of the DFS technology. Obviously, it shows that HEPA could capture some virus-sized particles, but not all of them. The DFS technology captures absolutely all of them. And that's the main differentiation right there, is a complete solution that filters all known virus-sized particulates from the environment. Now, when you look at installed solutions, and one of the great attributes of working with a company like ours is that we have portable units, we have installed solutions where we can treat 100 square feet or 100 million square feet. And a lot of times the concern about installing this type of a level of efficiency in an HVAC system is pressure drop. The thicker the filter, the harder it is to move air through it. And a lot of times that creates a loud noise and a damaging impact to the HVAC system. The great thing about the DFS technology is, again, that we achieve greater than HEPA filtration at the smallest micron level, but we do it at the slowest pressure drop, meaning quieter operation, as well as effect not negatively impacting the HVAC system inside the school. Now, again, as I mentioned, we have a multitude of different form factors. The one that we most recommend and that is the best for these applications is the Healthway Deluxe unit. Each unit is designed for up to 1,200 square feet. It's currently used anywhere from hospitals, field hospitals, major hospitals in New York cities, major hotel chains, schools across the globe, etc. And so this is really, I look as our bulletproof unit and has the most impact on the size spaces that we're looking to address. Now, we also have larger portable units down the road if looking to cover gymnasiums or libraries are also important. But this is one of the best solutions that we've found given the need for certain air changes per hour. And that's a terminology you're probably going to start to hear a lot. All that means is how many times can a machine change the air in that given space. And obviously the minimal goal is 2 air changes per hour, and anywhere above that is much more beneficial. So our goal is to get to 4 to 6 air changes an hour. And based on the average square foot of a classroom, this deluxe unit is able to accomplish that. Now, we also have the compact version. This is for about half the space of a deluxe, great for smaller locations, maybe nurses' offices. These can be wall mounted, so they can be up off the floor and not messed with or manipulated by students. But another great solution, the same exact technology, but lower airflow capability. These are used in the New York City Department of Education, Upstate University Medical Hospital, and again, designed for a little bit of smaller spaces for lower air changes per hour. Now, the great benefit of both of these units as well that we don't often talk about as everything's related to COVID is that they also have what they call a VOC filter. VOC stands for volatile organic compound. These are gases, chemicals, and odors. They could be cleaning agents, off-gassing materials, perfumes or colognes, you name it, right? So in addition to having the ultrafine filtration that these units provide, there's also odor control with the VOC filters in both of these units. Now, I think it's important to highlight some of the industries and companies we've been able to support over this last year and a half. New York City Department of Education at the time of this presentation had purchased about 60,000 of our portable units. They've since purchased over 200,000 after the results they experienced, making this our largest provider of air purification solutions to the education sector. We also work with Chicago, Boston, Miami, and the other largest school districts that are out there. And as you can imagine, there was a lot of verification and data that needed to be provided. And that's why they're continually adding more equipment as the need and urgency recommends. Here's a small snapshot from lower education to higher education, or K through 12, as well as up to major universities. Now, I know we're all in Alabama, and I'm still fighting to get the University of Alabama and Auburn to add these as well. But LSU has added them, obviously Cornell, New York City Department of Education, Miami-Dade, Syracuse University, LA Unified. Almost every school district in California has some equivalent of our product in there as well. I would almost argue that our specialty now is truly supporting the education sector. Most of us are fathers and kids in schools, and we believe that this is of the utmost importance. We're extremely enthusiastic about not just having a solution for COVID-19, but helping create healthy spaces moving forward. And I'm hoping that there's going to be data collected that we can start to see in the future how a healthier environment really impacts the capability of the teachers and the students to perform. So Via Carico. Carico has been a partner of ours for over, 20 years. One of our best distribution partners because they truly believe in the mantra that we do in creating healthy and wellness spaces. So I'm going to review a few of the things on how to order, who can help support you on this, and what Carico is going to do to help follow up. Please keep in mind that they always have our back-end support coming from the manufacturer. Again, I'm not too far away, and so I can always be there to support you and your team as well. This presentation will be made available, so don't worry about writing all this information down. We will make sure that you have it. But customer service _FL@carico.com is a main email. This is our hours of operation and phone numbers. And again, we're going to send this over to everybody so that you do have this available. Some of the things Carico is looking to do above and beyond is they're going to supply extra units above what's ordered because sometimes one could get damaged, one could be misplaced, and that way you'll always be operational with the needs that are necessary. They're also going to be providing PACA with samples so that they can deploy these in environments and get the use and feel and understand how these can impact the environment. I know that when you walk into a room that has one of these, you can immediately tell the difference. I believe there's a sample right now that some of the other people on the presentation have been able to be experiencing and can notice that immediately, something that you guys will as well. Now, all returns, if needed, will be handled through Carico's customer service. Very simple process with a required return authorization number given by the customer service person upon contact. This just ensures that it's traced along the way. They'll provide a shipping tag to be able to have the unit picked up. To date, we have not had any returns. I hope that you guys don't break that streak. And so I'm sure that that won't happen, but these are just some of the nitty-gritty things to understand that we're here for you from top to bottom. Some additional main contacts. Again, you don't have to write these down. We're going to make sure that you have all of these in black and white. Robert's going to be the main contact for any of your needs, customer service personnel to support us as well, and then accounting for any financial needs as well. So our tagline and our mission is reimagining the world as a better, safer place. I truly hope that you guys understand how our technology and support is uniquely different than other things in the market. And as always, we are available for follow-up questions, follow-up emails, additional presentations if needed. But that's going to wrap up most of this presentation. I wanted to lastly show some of the price list on here in the vendor applications. This kind of, Robert, you want to explain this snapshot a little bit better so they understand it?
Yeah, and this, based on the bid process that went in, these are the available air filters that PACA has agreed to put forth. And I know that you see our prices a little bit higher than the other ones that are out there, but as Ryan explained, if you compare the technology, there really is no comparison. And you know, I think the choice is obvious on what air filter I would put if I needed to get one, and that would be from Carico, the Healthway Deluxe. Is that safe to say, Ryan?
Yeah, I would say 100%. The reason most school districts have chosen our technology is because of performance and because of how we're designed to, and specifically designed to deal with ultrafine particles and virus-sized particles. That's really what our industry was built upon. We're fortunate, again, that we're able to be so supportive during this time of COVID-19, and hopefully we can be supportive for your schools and districts as well.
And Ryan, just to clarify, these units are designed to run 24/7, aren't they? So when we plug it in and set it up, what do we have to do from there?
That's it. There are definitely speeds that you can change and adjust as needed. The higher the speed, the more airflow and air exchanges it provides. It is certainly a plug and play, let it run. The longer it runs, the better. We don't look at air purification as a one-time event, only when class is in session. But because of the way that air dynamics work, it is a 24/7 operation, and speeds are just easily manipulated to handle what you're looking for.
And you had mentioned something in the discussion about the speed and the pressure at which you're able to achieve such excellent filtration. Is one of the reasons that the schools are selecting you is because you can run the unit at an effective airflow rate and not create any noise that interferes with the activity in the classroom?
Yeah, I would certainly say that's one of the reasons is noise level is certainly an impactful component. If there's a very disruptive, you've got to move air to have an impact. And when you have a very thick filter, that noise level tends to be extremely high. It's one of the drawbacks of traditional HEPA style filters. So yes, noise is a very big concern, but really the main reason is because of its capability. Traditional HEPA filters have been in the market for 60 years. It is really an old dated type of technology that does not account for microorganisms. It really does nothing to address the deactivation of viruses and bacteria. And because of that, and because of their way that they're designed, they do create a higher noise operation as well. So I still believe that the number one reason we're being chosen is because of the efficiency capability that far exceeds HEPA standards.
And I would last like to say, I know that when we submitted the bid, we had put a delivery of 60 days after the order, but that I guarantee you will be much shorter now.
Absolutely. I can comment on that as well. Because of the sheer volume that's been coming through, we have amplified manufacturing capabilities, and these are all in stock now. And so, yes, this is something that would be a much quicker delivery.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Shumay and Mr. Ritchie. We have really learned a lot from your presentation. You did mention in your presentation that we could get samples. You want to tell us about how some of the school districts or even here the county departments would be able to get samples?
Yeah, I had sent you guys one of them down there to start with. And if you let me know some of the departments who would like to have a sample, I'm more than happy to arrange that for you.
Okay, so with the PACA members, like some of the school districts, the cities that are a part of the cooperative, who would they contact? Or would they contact you if they wanted to get a sample for a school district or for a city?
Well, I would like them to contact both of us. I'd like you to know who's, what they're up to, keep you in the loop, obviously, because you're in charge of this. And, just to make sure that when somebody orders a sample, if they want to try one, make sure that it's actually where it's supposed to be, which, I think that's always a good thing for you to keep control.
Yes, sir. So anyone that's on the webinar right now, if you have any questions, you can use the chat feature and type in your questions, and Mr. Shumay and Mr. Ryan will answer your questions. So if anyone has anything, we'll do a Q&A session right now to try and answer any questions you all may have.
And we understand that this is a new topic of conversation for a lot of people and a lot to navigate. So happy to answer questions now, and if some questions hit you afterwards, please feel free to give us an email shout and we can answer those too.
It's looking like no one had any questions because your presentation was really good. It was very informative, and like I said, we learned a lot. The presentation was recorded. Once it's over, we will be sending this out along with your document to all of the PACA members and the Jefferson County departments. So I know it does have your information in there. So if anybody on the webinar now, if you think of questions that you may have after this, you can always email them, or you can send your information to me or Wanda Harville, and we can forward your questions to them. So if no one has any questions right now, I think we're gonna go ahead and end. And we thank you, Mr. Shumay and Mr. Ryan, for a great presentation and for all of the information. Thank you again for the sample machine. We love it. It really does great, just what you said in your presentation. So we thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Okay, thank you. If you need anything, please let me know. Look forward to working with you.
Okay, thank you. And
thank you all.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right.